So this week's gonna be a little different. Again, I'm gonna answer some questions people have asked and some nobody asked. Don't worry, there will be an update on the game too, but also, and this is maybe the interesting part, a bit about changing direction. This one's gonna be a little rambly. I'm sorry about that, but I'll try to keep it coherent and I'll also add chapters for what I think are the relevant sections so you can jump straight to whatever you find interesting. Okay? Let's go. So, it's been 6 weeks since I started working on this project. 6 weeks. I don't know what it's like for you, but wait a sec. I really don't know what it's like for you. It's one of those things about making videos and putting them on the internet. You don't really know what people think about them. I mean, if you're wrong about something or if people feel you're wrong about something, they'll definitely let you know, no doubt. The same applies if it's something they strongly resonate with. So basically the extremes are covered, but everything in the middle section is more like, And I guess that's where these videos land, the mildly interesting area, which is fine. I never expected people to go crazy over it. Plus, I'm still figuring out how to make these videos anyway, but I'll talk more about that in a sec. But it seems like a few people are watching this regularly and I'd really like to know what they think. So if you're one of them, please let me know what you liked or didn't like, what you want to see more of or less of, or anything you're curious about. Leave a comment below, or if you don't want to write a comment, send me a message on Mastodon or Blue Sky. I'll link my socials in the description. Of course, everyone has different expectations and preferences, and there's also limitations of what I'm capable of. I'm saying this because when I posted the announcement video on Reddit, one comment was this, and 6 weeks in, I think it's obvious that it's not and it was never meant to be. I think there's no way you can pull that off without experience, and I have no experience in game development whatsoever, and I haven't programmed anything for DOS or using Turbo Pascal since around 1996 or so. And back then I also wasn't the greatest programmer, and even though I got a lot better, which doesn't mean that I'm great now by the way, there's a lot of learning and relearning involved. I've taken wrong turns, run into walls, and I'll continue doing so because I'm lacking the necessary foresight in this problem domain. Which means I can turn this into a structured tutorial-like series where you just follow along a happy path. But that doesn't mean that you cannot follow along at all. The code is on GitHub, something I probably should have mentioned more often. I think I only said it once in the announcement video, so I'll leave a link to the repo in the description too. A few people suggested Castle, which is a game engine for modern Pascal, which means not running on DOS, so it's off the table. But even if it did, I wouldn't use it because half the fun of this project is exploring and building these things myself. I don't mind getting inspiration from books or code examples, and I appreciate all the resources people have shared with me, but I want to implement as much as I can on my own. And because of this, it's taken me 6 weeks to build something less impressive than what I could have built using a game engine on a lazy Sunday afternoon, but this isn't just about the game, it's about the journey. And to be completely honest, it's probably mostly about the journey because I'm a programmer, not a game designer. There will be a game at the end, but I also want to enjoy the ride. And the ride is, simply put, coding. Speaking of code, a few people also ask about Free Pascal, and that's sort of a side quest for me. My main goal is to create a game using Turbo Pascal that runs on a 386. That's basically the original challenge. But it shouldn't be too hard to replace the DOS/PC specific code with something else to make it work cross-platform with Free Pascal. And I'll probably do that in the near future. That said, the code will still be tied to Turbo Pascal's limitations. I really wish I could use some of the modern language features, but I don't make the rules. Oh wait, actually I do. But I'm a prick and I like to see myself suffer. Except that I'm not really suffering. I'm actually enjoying this. Using this computer really feels like a trip down memory lane. I love the dual monitor setup and being able to step through code while watching what happens on the other screen. I even enjoy the challenging bits. I mean, if it were easy, it wouldn't be satisfying, right? So I'm cool with that. But there are some things I struggle with. For example, working only an hour a day, Monday to Friday, isn't much, especially when a lot of that time is spent figuring things out. Some days the hour was basically get back into the headspace, run into walls, make a bit of progress, oh look, time's up. Not exactly flow state, but I'll stick to the schedule to keep the momentum and hopefully things will get better. The other struggle is making these videos. I knew it would take a lot of time, but I hoped I'd become more efficient, but that hasn't happened yet. If you've been following this series, you've probably noticed I changed the format from closely following the development on a daily basis to more of a bird's eye view. Closely in quotes, because even then I cut out a lot and used time lapses to keep the videos short enough to still be fun. But cutting down 5 hours of footage takes forever and you can't really follow along the coding anyway, plus the overhead and time-lapse shots got a little repetitive. I also realized I need time for cleaning up and for running into walls. Yes, I know this is all part of the process, but I'm not sure if people want to see that unless something really interesting happens. So I've been trying to focus more on storytelling, supplemented with footage of the game and development. Speaking of the game, what did I do this week? I wanted to see what it looked like with the tile set that didn't look like shit. And to do that, I needed to change the VGA palette. Until now, I'd been using the standard palette, but no real artist uses the standard palette. Changing it was actually pretty easy, just write to several ports in the right order. I grabbed the first free tile set I found online, converted it to PCX, loaded it, and it didn't look right. Turned out I saved it in RGB mode, so the file had 3 planes, so I saved it again in indexed mode, and there we go. And then I spent way too much time playing around with the tiles trying to build something. It definitely looked better, but I also caught myself thinking, where exactly is this going? Right now, it looks like I'm building a shitty looking Super Mario clone. Or, as of this week, maybe a decent looking Super Mario clone that still sucks gameplay wise. The problem is, I'm really not that excited about a platformer. You might wonder why I started building one in the first place, and the simple answer is I had no concept but wanted to start anyway, and a platformer was something I could easily wrap my head around while getting back into Pascal and learning VGA and game programming basics. And I guess a platformer would be the safe choice. I'm not saying it's easy, but if I keep extending what I have, I'll probably end up with a mediocre game. My 10-year-old self will be pretty jazzed about that, but I'd also like to make present-day me happy. Like I said, I'm not a game designer and I have no illusions that I'll come up with something innovative. The best I can do is combine elements from games I really like to play. And I've been thinking about taking 2 of my favorites from early adulthood, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Micro Machines V3, a sort of race game on hoverboards with skateboarding elements like obstacles and tricks. Now that is something I get excited about. It's also something I'm not sure I can pull off, but I won't know unless I try. So that's basically the direction I want to take the project. And if it doesn't work out, I can always go back to the platformer. But aside from the hoverboard, what's the Back to the Future part of this Back to the Future game? Well, the thing is, Universal Studios has trademarks on pretty much every character, location or object in this movie franchise. And even though this isn't a commercial project and I have no interest in selling this game if it ever sees the day of light, I don't want to risk pissing them off. I have no idea how litigious they are, but if they wanted, they absolutely could. So I figured it'd be safer to make it only loosely based on the movie, which means I'll probably have to call it something like Morty O'Fresh Levitation Board Race. But we'll see. Since my wife and I have our anniversary coming up, we'll be out of town, so I'll have less time to work on the project next week. I'll probably combine weeks 7 and 8 to explore this new mess I've created for myself, and maybe the next video will be, guys, I tried and failed, let's go back to the platformer. If that happens, so be it, but I hope it won't. I'll let you know in the next one. See you then.